Hello, listeners. This is John, welcoming you to episode 44.5 of Movie Schmovie. Now, why is there such a thing as episode 44.5 of Movie Schmovie, you ask? Well, that is because episode 44, when we recorded it, it seemed a little long, so we thought we'd cut it in half and let 44 proper be the review of Pitch Perfect, which I still haven't seen, and probably won't, and then take all the other stuff we talked about and shunt it off to this episode, which is 44.5. See, I've explained it, and now it's perfectly clear and reasonable, so you can calm down with your questions. This is also an attempt to establish Friday as the day of the week on which new episodes of Movie Schmovie will be dropping henceforth. So you can expect a new one next Friday. We hope to talk about two highly anticipated films, Rian Johnson's Looper and P.T. Anderson's The Master. I can already confirm that one of those movies is great, so there's something to look forward to. For now, though, sit back in your chair, relax, and let the soothing sounds of Ronald, Steve, and myself talking about stuff just wash over you and carry you off to another place.
Dancing is weird because dancing makes me uncomfortable. I can't really watch it.
Can you dance?
No.
Is that because that's probably what it is then?
No, it makes me uncomfortable.
Okay.
Watching people dance makes me uncomfortable. It makes me literally want to jump out of a window.
Is it because you can't dance though?
No, it's just I think that it's a foolish thing to me. It's like a spasm. Like it's like, ugh, I hear this music, oh, my body's moving. So I'm not really.
It is really silly, and if you think about dancing. While it's going on in front of you, if you think about it, right. As though you don't know what it's all about, and you're just walking in and saying, "Well, so what are they doing?"
You know what's weird? People pay money to dance in a box with lights in it, and someone playing music. That's a weird thought to me. People make a lot of money doing that. Yeah, that's crazy sauce. That doesn't make any sense to me. It's fucking confusing.
I'm thinking about what you're saying.
Hang out in a box with music and alcohol that's overpriced. It's crazy. Somebody said, let's make a box. Let's make a box with music in it and double the price of alcohol. We'll call it a club because we're clubbing people over the head with prices.
How long have you been waiting to get that out? It just seems like you've been holding that in. You feel good, don't you?
I feel great.
I can tell.
Because fuck clubs.
Smile ear to ear right now.
He's feeling good.
I hate clubs too, but I don't really.
The rest of us are just left to pick up the pieces.
Well, now that we have that established that Ronald hates clubs.
Yep. I'll jump out of a window on you. Like, what the hell did he just do? He jumped out of a window.
Anything else you guys want to throw out there that we've seen or?
I saw this French movie called Police about basically the children's division dealing with molestation, and they kind of follow this group of cops around as they're interviewing people. It's based on real events that occurred in the country. It's a really good movie. It's spelled Polisse.
Where'd you see this? Was it on demand or Netflix or your channels?
It fell. My channels.
Your channels
fell into my pocket. I like.
You were just walking around in like a USB stick or something.
Yep, inboxed it.
Wow.
Right on that.
Some people go to clubs and you just walk around and get free movies.
Because I don't like to dance in boxes. For money.
All right, check it out. Sounds good, man.
John's watched a cluster F of movies.
So it was
you
kind
censored
of
yourself. Wow.
I do clusterfuck of movies. And
that almost implies that the movies
ratings.
were sort of fighting with each other. And I almost would say that there's some truth to that. That when you see a lot of movies together, some movies that process will be kinder to them than others. Right. So like of the movies that I saw,
let's shoot down the list.
Beasts of the Southern Wild, which probably would have popped up on my list of lists a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, so that could have had 11 things on it.
Yeah, your list of top 5 that was 12.
It was that good though. I agree with you. Yeah. I agree with you. I also saw a movie that is right now available through like iTunes and on demand as a kind of a same time as in theaters, I guess.
Yeah,
thing, which is VHS.
Yep.
Which I think you guys.
Yeah, we saw it at the Maryland Film Festival back in May.
More distribution, right?
Yeah, it's doing its video on demand theater run.
It's doing the typical kind of fall release for a horror film thing, I think, which seems like a solid model.
It kind of works too.
And then I saw Robot and Frank, which is a movie I know that Ronald, you and I had talked about wanting to see.
Yeah.
And then because Robot and Frank, compared to the other movies I've been watching, felt a little mild, and I wanted something to get me amped back up again. I watched The Raid Redemption tonight on iTunes.
You got to talk about that first, Raid Redemption.
I really did like it. I'm not even a big martial arts movie guy.
I still got to see it.
And I didn't know much about the different style. I mean, I think it's a particular Indonesian style of martial arts that they're practicing in the movie.
It's really similar to Muay Thai, but I'm not exactly sure what the style
like
is.
Pencak Silat or something like that. Yeah, it was just a really kinetic action film. A lot of times movies that are that action-packed, you don't get a sense that the filmmaking is that elegant. And I just thought it was really visually well done. And even though it is just sort of like kill, 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 I mean, like unlike a lot of other martial arts movies where it can be kind of stilted, I felt like the acting was really solid too.
Damn it.
You got to see it.
I suck, man. I haven't seen it yet.
Also, like the fact that this guy is not from anywhere near there. Like the director's like, isn't like European?
Well, he's Welsh. He's Welsh. Yeah. And I think he grew up maybe in, or he at least now lives in Indonesia. I did a little reading on him, but he grew up in some small village in Wales. We're having this very measured conversation about it, but it's a really kick-ass movie. I mean, it's like the impact of it pretty much from the first minute or two. It's very simple setup. They got to get into this building. They got to take down this drug lord, this guy Tama.
That scene, that's one of my favorite scenes. It's not even an action-based one, but like he's talking over the intercom, and you know they live in that like basically building that's like projects basically. And
it reminded me almost of a twisted alternate universe version of Attack the Block in the sense that it's all about a particular apartment building, and you get to kind of know the building, and you get the sense of, in this movie especially, you're going up. Like they start on the ground floor and they got to get to the 15th floor. And it's almost like a video game in that sense. They just fight through these layers. There's a level with a bunch of guys with machetes,
which is really cool.
Yeah, the guy with the silver chain and the crazy eyes and the machete and like the running pants on.
That guy was getting on my nerves.
You just knew he was going to die because he was like, he wasn't just a bad guy. He was a guy who had he enjoyed a little too much being a bad guy.
Yeah. But the scene where he like was talking over the intercom.
Oh yeah.
And he said, he was basically like, the person that finds these guys gets rent forever.
I've seen that scene.
That scene's crazy because it ups the ante. So it goes from like being a little crazy, and then everybody's like, ah!
Well, then you just see all the SWAT guys sitting there, and when they hear that message, they're like, oh, they're fucked. Because it almost seemed too easy for them at first.
Right.
And then when there's a turn, it gets bad pretty fast. Yeah. So, yeah, but I thought there were a lot of great gags in that, almost like visual gags in the sense of like this won't spoil it just to say this, but the bomb in the refrigerator.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that scene was It was funny because they almost did the stuff that you would think to do. You're like, I would definitely chop down this floor.
Yeah.
Get that. And it's one of those
that's
like,
a thought that crossed your mind.
Right. You think, how are you gonna get out of this room? Oh, go down one level.
Right.
I'm gonna chop this floor down.
Well, it was also a good example of show don't tell. It was like the way you get thrown into the action, and I honestly don't know for sure if I knew what the main character's name was until very close to the end.
Yeah.
When a lot of these kind of relationships, because you know at the beginning when they're going in that there's more to it. It's like ostensibly it's just a SWAT team taking down a drug dealer, but there's some higher ups on this raid that seem to be there for other reasons. Yeah. And I can't honestly say for sure whether I know if that plot line totally made sense in the end. Like I don't know if it all adds up.
Yeah.
But I do. It almost feels like these characters could be set up for another movie or something in the sense that it leaves a few key players alive, and I like the relationship between the two. I guess if I'll say there's two brothers, two people you don't know that are brothers. At the end of the movie, you know they're brothers.
Yeah.
And when the relationship between them, I thought, especially visually, the way that played out at the very end, like the tracking shots that kind of show you their kind of feelings at the end of the story. That was really cool. And the other thing that just before we leave the subject is, if you've seen the movie, you got to talk about Mad Dog. Insane.
Mad Dog. A small firecracker that destroyed everything in his path,
and has like a gentleman's sense of fighting. That if he knows it's him versus another guy, even if he's got a gun on the guy, he like puts the gun down and makes sure they have a nice room, enough space to fight in. And like I did a little reading. He and the lead were the fight choreographers.
Yeah,
which makes a lot of sense when you think about what they were able to pull off. Physically.
They found the lead like when the director was like filming a documentary, and then it like became his guy. Like he was just randomly doing flips and kicks. The guy had never done any sort of like choreographed anything, and then he just knew that he'd be good in movies. So it was a previous movie that's absolutely horrific. Don't see it.
I don't know the name of the first movie they did, but I think it's like Minaretu.
Yeah, that one
Minaretu or something. That movie somewhere the director was quoted as saying that the Raid Redemption was lighter than the previous movie. And so it made me think, if this movie is lighter than the previous movie, the previous movie must just be like one long, slow shot of someone getting their head cut off or something like that.
I don't know, it's funny because we mentioned before, like we talked about the remakes and like, you know, taking a movie and already having rights to it. I mean, still admittedly, I haven't seen this movie, but when you mentioned that it's almost ending in a way that you can see sequels coming along, I did see something when I heard about them buying the rights to the Raid, that they also actually bought the rights to the sequel to it already. Okay. And there's also a sequel being made to the Raid Redemption for the Indonesian market, like now, I think already.
You know, we were making fun of the name about how it's kind of a generic name.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I think one of the things was when they put it out in the States, they couldn't use the name The Raid, and they added Redemption partially to, you know, get a name that they had the rights to, but also to set up the idea that you can have something else called The Raid, something else.
Oh, yeah.
There really was no redemption. I tried very hard to think of any character. All the characters who ended up dying pretty much were bad or good, but no one started out like bad and needed to turn good. No one had something to, you know what I mean? There wasn't really like...
How about if it was called The Raid Retaliation? You know, that's going to be that's the sequel.
I stress that it's not... It was very entertaining. Like, you would think this all sounds sort of grim. And again, if you're not a martial arts guy, which I'm not, I don't watch a lot of those movies. I find them kind of plotless a lot of times.
Yeah.
This, even though it was that kind of real choreographed fighting, it was also really, it had real grit to it. And every surface in this building is like moldy and dusty and
terrible. That's
grimy
like
looking. There was just
shit on like literally shit in some scenes. Like, yeah, it's pretty.
The production design was really deep.
I've heard nothing but amazing things about this movie.
It's like a journey into hell.
We've done like the biggest promote. We've like talked about this movie like 6 times throughout this podcast.
When I saw it, people were screaming. Like, it was like, I don't think.
Well, I was going to say, it reminds me of.
We were in a movie theater and people were screaming at the top of their lungs. Sometimes with some of the scenes happen. So
not exactly, but I don't know if you saw the remake of The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah,
you know the way in that movie at a certain point, it's just this world is fucked. This guy's got to man up to get out of this situation and maybe save a couple people. That's kind of the way this movie is. It's like you go into the belly of the beast, and then there's a question of like, can you just get out, or do you continue with your mission, or whatever? And the mission really is just survive. So it's like a horror movie in that sense.
I promise you, I will watch this movie.
Now that we've talked it up impossibly high, but I actually think this is one that you almost
can't wait to see it.
Can't talk up because I had heard how great it was from a lot of people, and I was still deeply entertained. But it's just one of those that you know within minutes that you are, you know. You don't get bored.
So how about VHS?
VHS had really good parts and parts that were kind of expected for horror.
What were your really good parts?
I thought the one with the Skype conversation was really creative. Even though I don't know if I liked the plot, the way it resolved. Had kind of a here we go again type ending. But I thought the scene where the boyfriend and the girlfriend are talking and she's like saying, next time I hear something weird in my house, I'm gonna call you up. And you'll talk me through it. And she's going to try to, basically she's having a Skype conversation with him wherever he is, and he's talking her through a haunting that she's experiencing in her apartment. And without giving away too much of what happens, I thought that the ending to that wasn't as interesting as just the sheer visual scare of
what was going on.
And the suddenness of it, combined with the sort of creeping sensation, just how creepy it would be, if you were having that conversation with your lady, and she was like saying, there's noises in my apartment right now. I think I've got to go. I mean, the fact that she seems to be living with this horrific thing, and it's layered over this mundane conversation between a boyfriend and girlfriend. I thought that was effective horror.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be doing that in Paranormal, right? They're supposed to be using
that's in the teasers for it, yeah.
So that's going to be crazy.
And I thought the last one where the guys go on, it's Halloween and the guys go into the house. I thought like the first 2/3 of that were great. Once they find what's going on and they kind of try to escape, I felt like it just kind of
felt like a Disney.
It just kind of went kerflooey. But the scene of them arriving at a house that's supposed to be like a haunted house or a party and there's nobody there and they're just kind of exploring, that has a genuine creep factor to it, because I mean you can imagine again if you and your buddies show up at a house and it's supposed to be a party and there's nobody there, like there was something to that was like very, it was easy to imagine that. And plus those characters, even though they were obnoxious, they weren't like totally loathsome the way the first one
with the girl.
Yeah, which had some cool bits. Like I thought I liked the way that one just went completely to hell. Like that one. In fact, in my notes I had written like, this is boring. Like, who wants to watch this? And then that went to hell. I'd sort of it just happened really quickly. And I thought, as a fan of horror, I'm a big fan of those moments.
I thought it was hilarious that the lady basically implied that she didn't, when she filmed it, she didn't picture how misogynistic it was. It was in the end. Remember that?
Yeah,
that was insane.
She was in the segment.
The actress or the
the actress in it's the segment that T West did, the one with the couple that goes on like the road trip. And
Ty West. Is it T West or Ty West?
Ty West. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
that was a real weak spot for me, I thought.
Yeah, and actually, the male lead in that is director Joe Swanberg, who did the chat one that you liked, the iChat one or the Skype one. But yeah, the Q&A was really weird. I think we mentioned it on a prior podcast, but like people were asking her through the Q&A like what her thoughts were on like, I guess the female roles throughout the segments, like on what the females did, where that's the one where like the woman, you know, the female lead actually has the upper hand in what's going on to, you know, not the guy that has no idea.
Right.
And that's until the last shot, you know, most people don't either. I didn't really understand.
But I feel like that was kind of a shrug to me. Like I was watching that and I wanted it to be more like, I think that the notion of somebody filming you when you're asleep and then you maybe finding the tape or something, that has a real tangible, like that's something you can just imagine. It's just really disturbing. I thought that it kind of didn't really play up the horror of that because the guy never discovered the tape.
Yeah, I would.
And then when the kind of surprise ending was, it was gory and it was, you know, kind of disturbing the way it happened. But the story is like, if you take a step back from that, you go, wait a minute. So the story really wasn't much of anything, you know, like I guess we're supposed to believe that girl that knocked on the door at their hotel, this was part of some plan to kill the boyfriend, but you know what I mean? That just didn't make a lot of sense.
I think that was one of the weakest one. I would have to agree. Like and
I'm a fan of Ty West, and I thought that was
I know weak. You love the Innkeepers.
I just thought it was weird.
Oh, that look was great. Like, oh, come on, man.
No, I really.
It has its moments for me. I wasn't a huge fan of the Innkeepers. I think honestly that was a film that my expectations got the better of me.
Well, it sounded like you had that moment. I think you described it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Right? We're talking about Ty West's previous to this, I think, The Innkeepers. You had that moment where you watched it with friends and nobody liked it, and you were the guy that suggested it, and that will always make it. I mean, I'm not saying you didn't dislike it, but that will always make it seem like a horrible experience. Right?
Yeah, that almost was. That's pretty much what happened with VHS. Wouldn't you say so? Like you and I were all about it.
Yeah, we were really.
He brought a friend with him. I brought like 5 with me, and everyone hated it.
Everybody, and they kind of blamed us. Like,
and I was like, I kind of liked some of it, and they're like, "There's no way you like that movie.
You're a fucking piece of shit."
Well, you know the things about it that would.
I still hear shit about taking people to that movie.
I mean, you know, like I got sick of the kind of gimmicky idea of the shaky cam.
Yeah.
You know? I do think a good medium for found footage is the short, because so often in a found footage movie they have to spend so much time trying to justify why they're filming things, whereas in a short it's easier to believe. Like for instance, the short with the kind of demon girl where the guy's got the glasses. Even though I hated those characters, and it's like
why do you care? Yeah, you didn't care about them.
But I was like, well, they found a creative way to say this person isn't continuing to film. They just happen to still have the glasses on that are filming everything. That kind of moment. And then at the end when he's kind of getting carried away, that was, you know, the whole point of view aspect was cool. The one that was a complete washout was the kids in the woods.
Yeah, I don't even. What do you think about the rap, like the bookends and the interstitials with the guys in the house?
Oddly enough, it was more interesting like in the first 2 segments, and then it never really, like the scene where the guys are in the basement, and like they see a naked old guy walk by or something. That was a genuine scare, I thought, but it never really built from there. And they had the awful, to me, unexplained thing of why, if I was sitting down to watch a tape, why would I set down a camera to film myself watching a tape? And every one of those guys, when they put in one of the tapes, there's a shot of them sitting down in front of what's presumably their camera.
I didn't,
you know, it just doesn't. And then I think it was a little underdeveloped, that whole story, just the idea of what the tape was and why they were going to get it. Exactly. Like I wanted that to. I understand that in horror, a lot of times, you know, boom, everyone's dead.
Yeah,
you don't get an answer. But I thought that was a little lazy in this.
That was probably. I mean, I did not like the Woods story, the one you just referenced, but I think I was defending it a lot when we first saw it because I was in that group that like hated it.
Yeah.
But you know, I think that was probably one of our biggest issues with it was that whole idea of the rap, like what brings these stories together. We're watching these 5 stories from these tapes these guys are popping in, but the resolution of what they're doing or not able to do at the house, and you know, like you said, the things you just can't believe like that are actually happening. Especially when you're talking about the found footage piece, like you're talking about the glasses and the Skype things and the way we come about that footage. And then we have the footage of these guys watching these tapes of the foot. It was just so weird like that they went that approach, and it didn't actually I don't even think it really tied it together very well, especially being able to look. I've seen it again since we saw it at the festival. and I was much more critical of that rap segment.
It was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have, and I know this is like a weird thing. I complained about this before, but like if it's a VHS tape, why was the quality so different on
Yeah.
some of them?
Yeah,
Like,
that
some of
part's
them were
just
like literally filmed in
That's
HD.
why it was half baked.
I did watch it again, like I said. I would say that overall I was a fan of it.
Yeah.
You know, with its flaws, but I think that the second time watching it, I was much more, I guess, critical of those flaws. I mean, I don't know, maybe because I watched it by myself the second time, and I wasn't. Maybe you're right, John. I wasn't worried like, oh my god, everybody's hating this movie. I feel like a dick, you know, like, but you know, it's different too. That's one of the things that really kind of took me off guard with it, and why we sought it out at the festival. Is that I like the idea of like the anthology.
Yeah.
You know, even with my criticism or the ones that I didn't like in the film overall, I can still say that I liked the movie because there was other things that I took away from it. You know, like these 5 individual stories, maybe liking 3 out of the 5. That's not the end of the world, really, you know. And I don't think that and because they didn't do a really great job of the whole rap, you know, tying anything together with these guys, and if these stories had anything to do with one another, you know, that allowed me just to say I saw 5 movies and I kind of liked 3 out of the 5,
Yeah.
and it was okay.
That's
you know,
the way I
it was
felt.
like time well spent, I guess, for a different kind of horror experience. So I mean, I'd still recommend it to check it out, and the fact that you can get it through, you know, the channels like John said, and it's actually going to be, I think, in theaters on October 5th is when that's video on demand.
For some
now.
reason, there's an HD option. I'm not really sure what that. It's priced the same as standard, so I guess it's just you know, you can choose your link. Maybe that means the logos at the beginning of the film are
Those are in
are
HD.
in HD.
Yeah. Wow.
Dang.
So we're gonna make a little shift now.
Yeah. So
Now that John's caught up and that we've made it clear that I need to still catch up with the raid.
you do have to see the rate. What's crazy is in a couple months we're gonna have top movies of the effing year, not just the effing season, the effing year,
The effing year.
the effing year. Something about saying effing, the effing year.
What just happened? It looked like you just like had an out of body experience and like something took you over. Wow, that was an experience itself. It's just late, isn't it? You've had a day.
There's something amazing about a couple like effing with that. Hey, the effing went to the effing store.
I think you're the only person that does that, though.
I think
You've made up a person to be irritated by.
Yeah, right.
This fictional person you just made up. They
I've
do
never
sound
heard-
irritating.
Well done. All right, guys. Well, you know,
so
as
sorry.
always, thank you. He's apologizing. He's gonna issue a
Don't be
formal-
effing sorry.
yeah, effing sorry.
Now you are that person, John.
right. I've become it.
You're that person I complain about in my head.
That was fantastic. Yeah. What else? Go over to movieschmovie.net. You pretty much can find anything you want to know about the whole enterprise over there. And if you would also go to iTunes, look up Movie Schmovie, go to our page and leave a review. It helps us out in the charts, but it also just looks better. No one likes a lonely looking iTunes page, so please help us out. Other than that, as always, you've made Steve's day. I'm done, buddy. I'm done talking to the microphone.
Yay!